I mean, it when you have no money, it matters. Don't get me wrong. If you are poor, or if you are living from paycheck to paycheck, if your income and your expenses do not meet, as in they don't balance out, or you don't make more money than you spend, the stress in your head, and my parents went through it. I went through it as part of it as well, with them.
No, because you feel it.
My dad was depressed for a bit, where all his projects and all his his chances for work were kind of like exploding or imploding rather. My mum couldn't work. I remember him being depressed, and lying on my parents' beds and just not knowing what to do with himself. Yeah. And I would be the exact same. I don't blame him at all.
No, you can't.
But they picked themselves up, and I think it was something my mum said, or said, we've got a family, we've got kids, not just me, but also my sisters, who I'm sure needed some support and wanted to see the best happen for us. So they picked themselves up and they worked hard. I think that was their lowest point. I remember sitting in the garden. I think I've told you this before, and this is probably one of my most core memories, where we're sitting in our house. It must have been 11, maybe 10, 11, sitting in our house in Roma, which is a part of Lusaka, which is the capital city in Zambia, and sitting on the grass. It was a lovely day. We had a wee picnic, which was quite cute. And my mum said to me, obviously they probably talked about this beforehand, and they said, listen, we've got some big choices to make. We've got no money. And again, bear in mind, I'm maybe I'm 10 years old. I think I'm around that age. I wasn't quite a teenager yet. I definitely wasn't. I was still quite young. And she's like, we've got no money. We've paid your school fees, because you have to pay for school fees in Africa. Everything's private, because there is no state funding for anything. The country can hardly feed itself, let alone pay for services like that. So everything was paid. So I paid my school fees, which meant I had food to eat. That we had enough food and enough money to feed ourselves for the next couple of months. And we paid our rent. That was it. That's all we had. Actually. No money left. Nothing in the bank, right? No money. And my mum was my mum's a bookkeeper. Or she trained herself to be an accountant, but she had bookkeeper by trade. And she ran my grandfather's farm for him, because he wasn't very good in finances. So she was very good with money, but we had none. So she said, listen, we have three options. One is either we stay here and we try and make it work, and in 3 months' time we bring in some money. They ran a consultancy, because my dad is really good at what he does, and he used to basically run all of the farmers. He was the head of all the farmers in Zimbabwe, so he knows how to farm. And my mother was the daughter of one of the most successful farmers in Zimbabwe, arguably. it's very hard to determine who's successful and who's not. But he was a very good farmer, maybe not a very good businessman, but a good farmer. So I'm trying to paint the picture here that they knew what they were doing, but it was just very hard, because they lost everything.
Yeah, because they were starting from nothing.
So we had to stay and try and make it work in 3 months, try and make some money. And bear in mind, Africa is very expensive. My school fees were very expensive. It wasn't just just get a job. And there's no kind of jobs for that kind of lifestyle that aren't at a certain level. So you can't just work in a coffee shop. You can't do that. And my mum couldn't work. She didn't have a work permit. So only my dad could work. Or we go back to Zimbabwe, where my mum still had her house in the town. No work in Zimbabwe. My dad, at that time, I think things had cooled off, so he probably wouldn't have got arrested. But if he had gone back within the year of two of us leaving Zimbabwe, he would have been in jail.
Yeah.
Because he and the other farmers were like, you can't do this. Not only are you going to hurt our livelihoods as individuals, you're going to kill the nation.
Yeah.
Because the nation relies on farmers, not just for jobs. Imagine if you're a big farm and you employ 1,000 people. Imagine if there's 1,000 farms. That's 1 million people's jobs. You just destroyed 1 million people's jobs overnight. You didn't transfer the management. You didn't say, we've put a new owner in place. You crippled the entire organization.
Yeah.
You crippled all the organizations. So what was left?
Just for your own political gain.
Indeed.
Literally.
But it was very selfish, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they had good intentions once upon a time, maybe 30, 40 years ago. But the way it was done was just terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't think everybody could agree.
You just traumatize an entire nation.
You pretty much
literally
did. And we got out. We were lucky. We were the lucky ones. I had a person I once was dating. She was really nice to me, really good friend at the time. And when I told her our story of the, being from Zimbabwe, being farmers, blah blah, and I was here in the UK and I'd met her here, she cried.
Yeah.
She was like, you one of the success stories.
Yeah,
it may not seem like it was a success.
I mean, like you see stuff like this, like now that we have like so much social media and like so many cameras and all this stuff being posted, like you see these things happening now to other countries where bombings are happening and people who had like this beautiful home, beautiful life, and then all of a sudden they become like they have to flee from their own country because it's attacking itself and its own people, and it's like literally that's what happened. Like you had to like flee your own country because it's like your own country was attacking you, like which is super. But obviously I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that that your family are now safe and well. But yeah, continue. You were sitting on the grass.
Just basically sitting on the grass, having this big thing. You know, it was big for me, but again, bear in mind, I've been dealing with this since I was 7, so my mind was ready. I knew this was coming. Everyone knew this was coming. And the other option was to come to the UK because we were lucky to have British passports. Well, my dad had a British passport that he'd given up because he'd fallen in love with Zimbabwe. He didn't want to be British anymore. And we had to get his passport back. I had been given a passport by birth because my mother had been nationalised. And obviously my family were all British. Like my family have always been British. You know, for generations until they fell in love with Africa. I think there's a certain beauty in Africa, especially Southern Africa. I mean, you can take the person out of Africa, but you can't take Africa out of the person. It's just it feels like home. It's always home to me.
That's what Antoinette said as well. She was like, there's just something special. But I've never been, so like I've never been to Africa.
That's so cool. Everything is beautiful. It's so raw.
Yeah.
And so we sat down there with these 3 options, and we all weighed it out. We did pros and cons. It was very, very professional, very logical, and we kind of looked at it. And I said, for me, I'd made friends in Zambia.
Yeah.
I had loads of friends. I really enjoyed my school. I enjoyed where we lived at the time, or it was better than where we'd lived the past 4 years. And I was happy. I was like, I don't want to move again.
Yeah.
I don't want to move back to Zimbabwe because I don't see there being a life there for us. There were some friends there, which was nice. That was the benefit of going back there. We had a house, which I loved our house. I grew up there. But, you know, we all decided there and then that we would give it our best shot. Anyway, I'm painting this picture so that you can understand what it was like sitting there on the grass with these people who had made it in their lives.
Yeah.
And we decided to stay. And thankfully, within those 3 months that we had left, you know, they made a sale for their consultancy, and that allowed them to, it was a big sale, I think, and then that allowed them to get the next sale, and then, you know, the rest is history. We stayed.
Yeah.
I found really interesting as I grew up that I could see the perspective of the people who had taken our farms from us and the people who had worked for let's say my grandfather. And I felt more for them than I did for us. Because I could see eventually by the time I was 14, 15, my parents had, their business had taken off. You know, we had a bit of money. My parents never splashed out. It was always like secondhand cars, secondhand everything, secondhand clothes, until maybe I was like 15, 16. And there's another story around what changed and when we actually started to spend money. But I was brought up for the first couple of years of my life, maybe 3-4 years of my life, by my nanny, basically. Because my mum was a single mom, right?
What was your first language?
So my first language was Shona. So I didn't speak English until I was about 4 or 5.
Cool.
Which is quite cool. I mean, it was a struggle for my mum because she couldn't understand anything I was saying.
That's so funny. I didn't even think about that. They're like, sweetie. Yeah, sure. Are you hungry? What are you trying to say? Damn, that's so crazy.
So funny.
So that's even insane. Now, like I still
Melanie's
can understand.
Reaction, that was really funny.
Yeah.
Yes, sweetie.
That's like, yeah. Oh my God, your poor mom though. Like I'd be like, oh my God, who is my child?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously I had a nanny who was absolutely amazing. She was so patient. She was so lovely with me. And I spent a lot of time with her when I was really young. So my early memories are kind of with her and my mom together. Because obviously I didn't have a father figure until I was maybe 7, until my parents got married. Mm-hmm. So she would take me to like her house, her small village, and I would eat with her and her kids and everyone else in the village, and just play. And it was a very chilled existence because there was just no cares in the world, especially when you're a kid. You're very just like communal. And would eat sadza, or other people call it nshima, which is like it kind of is like a maize meal ground up, and it kind of looks like a really thick porridge.
Oh my God, that's like grits.
Kind of like, I'm not sure what grit is.
Grits is like corn, maize, like ground up. Yeah, ground that's up, what I grew up on. Yeah. that's so cool.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's so nice.
So that with like
it's
SG,
amazing.
it's really good.
Yeah.
It's not good for you. It's got no nutrition.
Yeah.
but
it
fills your stomach.
Yeah. I've always wanted to make me grits, Melanie.
Yeah, we have grits, eggs, and bacon, and you put it all in together,
It's
and
like,
then
it get